Welcome back, guys. Long time no see. It has been pretty frantic actually, so I apologise I haven't sort of put anything up. Today's not going to be anything overly exciting, just a bit of a catch up for both yourselves and make sure I'm on top of things. Mainly revolving around the Tight Trucks charity event and I guess what we're doing here. So I've got three pretty big announcements to make today, and another one a bit of a change of direction. So I'll start off with the Tight Truck Challenge stuff. Now, we started getting, I guess it's growing, the event's growing, which is fantastic. We're raising money, we're all having a ball doing it, but we've decided to make a separate YouTube channel for it. Now, because we've got bigger sponsors coming on board and we're looking to go further with some big ones yet again, we don't want to tie it up with street racing and all the sort of ragtag stuff we do on this channel. So we've made another channel for that, which is just Tight Truck Challenge on YouTube. So if that's a cup of tea, if that's what you're here for, jump over and have a look at that one there. We're still going to be doing a lot of, I guess, the internal stuff. So us building cars and us testing and all that sort of stuff, I want to keep on the channel as like a, you know, from our side of the fence kind of thing. But yeah, in terms of the actual comp stuff, it's up there. So the last comp, which is only last weekend, is up on there, both episodes. So go and check that out. We had an absolute ball with it. I'll run you over the truck in a minute just to show you what's going on or what has gone on with that one there. I'll start off with the first big announcement, and we bought a house. So we bought house and land. We did that early in the year, and that's not me trying to gloat. I guess that's the reason why I've been a little bit patchy with what I've been doing. So the Integra, that's been broken for like 6 months. It's a bit of a money pit, as all project cars are, but I've left that be, obviously, for the house. I didn't, you know, while it's broken, it's not costing me any more money. And now we're flat out back into these things again. So I've got the Integra fixed. It happened to just be, luckily enough, just some software issues and a map sensor. So the car's back up and running, and we're glad to see it back. It's been up for about a month now, and we've had a heap of fun in it. And I haven't broken anything just yet, touch wood on that one there. But we're hoping to get plenty of content, get it down roll racing, and just enjoy the car, just get some seat time in it. Today I want to run you through the cars. I guess we're at like 100 subscribers. I know it's not massive, but I guess we're doing something half right. So I want to show you what we've got and what we plan on doing with it as well. So the Integra, it's a dangerous phrase to say, but the car's pretty much done. I don't really expect any more from the car. It is a street car, and that's what's always going to limit it. If it was something I was drag racing or anything like that, I could understand pushing further, but it's pretty much at its limit. I'm going to strengthen the transmission for the car. So pending how nice the taxman's going to be to me this year, I've got two options. One's completely rebuilding a transmission. I'm going to put a twin plate in it. I'm going to do some axles as well. So that exercise to build something aftermarket is going to be 10, 12, 13 grand, which is a heap of money for something like this. The other option I've got is going to be hardening the factory gear set that I've got. Now, I have heard brilliant results with this actually. So I'm looking into that. They reckon about 50% stronger than factory, and they compare it to some more entry-level gear sets in terms of strength. So being that it's a street car, that might be a very good option. The other benefit to that as well is how I'm doing the transmission. So in the car at the moment, the transmission I've got in it is actually a mixture between CRV internals. It's got a Type R LSD in it, and it is an Integra or DC5 casing. So I've actually got my spare box down the bottom there. They're both identical in terms of gear sets and LSD and everything in them. Now there is a lot of benefits of having this setup. So being the 5-speed, the gears are generally a little bit longer than what they would be in a 6-speed, which is perfect for, you know, a bit more torque and a bit of boost. They're cheap, and as I said, I like the ratios. If I'm going to build something, I'm going to have to go back to a 6-speed setup, which more money and not necessarily what I want to do, but I guess we'll see how that goes. We'll do some more research and we'll come back to that. So back to the Rodeo. It's been a noble old steed, this one. We're at a point where we're not sure if we want to continue with the platform we're on or whether we want to jump ship and do something else. So we've won both competitions so far. Not being cocky, it's just we've had a cheap, well put together car. We've had a plan, I guess, for the day. We're being conservative in the way we've driven, and it's got us home both times really well with points. So Now, running into the second comp, we did have some pretty major issues with the car. The bottom end on this is very noisy. It's not knocking, but it's chattery. It's not healthy. In the transfer case, when we dropped the oil out of that, we only pulled about 200 mils of oil out of it and a heap of shrapnel. So we knew two things weren't wonderful on the car. The rear diff, we had pinion issues where we didn't set up the caster correctly. We put some makeshift caster wedges in there and they fell out. We made some better ones thinking they'd be fine for the event, but they fell out the top of the first hill on the first day. And that put us in a bit of a spot of bother. So when they came out, the pinion angle goes to shit. I'll show you what it does here. So you can see in there where it's fouled on itself already. So down in the center there and up on this top lobe, all that stuff is making contact with one another, and that's what blew the shaft up and caused us to lose drive last time. We thought we fixed it, but not exactly. So day one we limped home. Day two we went back to camp and we had to try and make some sort of caster wedges out of anything we could find at camp. So we stuck a screwdriver in this one. This was honestly only to try and lever it open, but it got stuck in there and we thought, hey, that works. So we cut the end off and we left that in there. This one's even better. This one's a carpet tile. So as you can see, it's working in there as a bit of a caster correction. It's not wonderful, but that got us out of trouble and that got us back into day two. You know, quite a bit more confident running into day two. We got to the top of, I think, the third hill and we lost drive. So we had no front drive, clicking and banging. It didn't sound like we'd blown a CV. It was more consistent, like skipping teeth or a hub. So we thought maybe transfer a front diff or a hub. Oddly enough, the next obstacle after that, again, we may have had it, may not have had it, couldn't have told. The obstacle after that, we definitely had four-wheel drive again. And then the obstacle after that, we had four-wheel drive half of it, then we went back to two-wheel drive. We've really got to look into that and see what's involved, and just see, you know, cost-wise, if it's going to be more effective to keep the car or if we want to change the platform. But that'll be our next little task with that one there. The Land Cruiser, so you've seen a little bit of this as well. We want to get this, you know, we just want to get and do a bit more in it. We want to do a bit more, I wouldn't say touring, but, you know, local spots. I want to drive a fair bit of more milestone type tracks, so Cut Rock, for example. I really want to get the car down to the Wadigans and try that. But it's, yeah, early 90s Land Cruiser, petrol, 1FZ. It's manual. It's on a 5-inch lift on 37-inch muddies. No sway bars. You know, it's snorkel, spare tyre carrier on the back, stereo, UHF, pretty much everything you're gonna want to need. You know, because there's budget trucks and there's budget trucks. So, you know, between these two, we hope to enjoy ourselves quite a little bit with that. We've got another bull bar to go on the car. I need to get some sliders for it because they're still straight somehow. And a spare tyre carrier on the back. So, pretty basic, but does the job. We've got Sam's Civic. Now, this car is going to get a bit of love shortly as well. So she's gone and bought herself a little daily driver, and we're going to actually wind this one up a little bit more. So the car's been a daily driver for both myself and her for the past, I don't know, year and a bit. So it hasn't really been wound up to its potential. It's been, you know, it's been turned down a fair bit just to be, I guess, economical and reliable. So we're, obviously it's 2 litre, so it's K20, it's supercharged, it's just on 98. We're going to be putting the car on E85. We've got to put some headers on it. We've got a bigger throttle body there for it, some bigger injectors. Might go a smaller pulley, maybe an aftercooler, but yeah, we're just going to get that pepped up a little bit more. And we sort of want to aim the car at that 200 odd kilowatt mark, so that's what's planned for that. The old tow car, the old humble Navara. I mean, it's just a stock Navara, but you know, not much happening with that either. All right, and for the third and final, I don't know, you want to call it an announcement, whatever this is. You've probably seen it in the corner. I try to keep this off camera as much as I could with today's little wander around, but I will show it to you. I've got to set the scene first, okay? So let me take you back. Let me take you back to your first car. Everyone remembers their first car, and if you didn't, you're weird, and if you didn't, I don't know what you're doing watching my stuff anyway. But my car was a 1993 Nissan Bluebird, so they're a pretty uncommon car, very ugly car to be honest. We had ours in the family since day dot, for as long as I can remember. It was my sister's first car, and then it was kind of sat there ready for me to be my first car. So I sort of took, I'll say possession of it at sort of I'll say 14, 15. Immediately started putting pod filters on it, you know, putting stereos in it. It went through probably 10 stereo systems before I even had my license. But this actually got me in a position where I get my first job. So my first job was sort of selling and installing car radios. And, you know, even I did that for 11 years, I think, and it even put me into sales today where I am. So 15, 16 years down the track and I'm selling cars. So it was all sort of destined to be in that respect. So first car, loved it. They actually had a Nissan, well, the American Nissan 240 SXs. So these actually came with a KA24D in the Australian delivered version, which is that motor. So I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Had a Sylvie motor in it, big stereo on it, loved it to pieces. So that sort of is where it kicked off for myself. Now they do a very weird and unusual Japanese version of these cars. They are SR20 turbo and they're all-wheel drive. Now these, I'm not going to say dream car. I guess this was probably the first on the pedestal car for me, and being it was the first car, my first car, it was always going to be special to me as well. So I've always wanted one of these things. All right, now early 20s, I think I was 20 years old actually, I got my big loan and I bought the Integra. So you know, first nice fast car, I was out, I had three choices of what I wanted. I wanted an Integra, I wanted, don't hate me, a 32 GTR, which back then it was well in the price range of, and I wanted one of these Bluebirds. Now, I thought I'd make the smart decision and buy the only one that was P-plate legal, which happened to be the Integra. And look, I don't hate my decision. Obviously, I've still got it 10 years later and I adore the thing. But I think most people would be kicking me if they realized I could have bought a 32 GTR for the money. But anyway, so I didn't get a Bluebird back then. Okay, I missed out on it, took the smart route, bought the Integra. Now, ever since then, I've wanted one. So I missed out on one in Queensland probably about 6-7 years ago. Cheap as chips, manual, all-wheel drive, but it was in Queensland. I didn't really have the money then. But honestly, ever since then, I've been looking for one. I've always kept an eye on them. I've been on heaps of like Bluebird forums and stuff on Facebook, and you just never see them. They're rare as anything. Now, one popped up recently, and I nearly fell over with the price. I almost grabbed the thing for less than $2,000. I just missed out to a younger fella from Sydney. Now, super nice guy. He picked it up. It was only at Doyleson, so it was only like half an hour from where I live. He took it home, and he started sort of working on it. Now, he quickly realized it wasn't what he was, because this particular one is automatic. Now, I know everyone's probably going, automatic, but I'll tell you why it makes a bit more sense in a moment. But he ended up selling it because he found a manual one, and I jumped straight on it. So this is it. Try and get a better angle for you. So this is my 92 all-wheel drive turbocharged SR20 Bluebird. So it is identical platform almost to a GTI R, just in the chassis of Bluebird. So as I said, bit ugly, bit uncommon, but I adore it all the same. I've test fitted some of my mate's tri-spokes, and I'm probably going to grab off him and restore as well. But in terms of resto, that's exactly what this car is going to be. Now, because I got so many registered cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Sam's Daily, and this doesn't count, it's just a bucket that lives down the front. Another rego wasn't really on the card, so I wanted something I could do historic rego on, which this just so happens to be. It will be 30 years old early next year, I think. So basically from January 2022 I can put it on historic rego. So I've got 6 months before I can realistically rego it, but that's fine. I've got heaps I need to do to it. I've already started just doing odds and ends. I've prepped the spoiler ready for spray. Look, it just needs a lot of little parts. I'm probably better off grabbing a parts car when one pops up, even if it's just an Australian delivered one. But I'll get there eventually with it. I mean, it's got 189,000 Ks, if you can see that. It's got no rust. It needs a bit of love on the outside. Panel work isn't something I've necessarily done before, but what a better time to learn. So now, as per the automatic stuff, so I don't know if you've realized with, I guess, what I'm doing and everything on the channel. I have got it's a neuromuscular disability. It affects my hands and my feet. Obviously still jump in and have a go with everything, and that's just how I am. But there is a very real possibility I could have my manual license taken away from me, and that scares the shit out of me. Because as you can see, if I lost my manual license, pretty much everything I love to do would fall away from me. So seeing this as an automatic, something I've always wanted, something I can put as historic rego and just do up and drive and cherish, the automatic thing was perfect. So I'm very happy it was an automatic. But yeah, I'm honestly, I walk past it and still can't believe it's in my garage. I know it's probably a piece of shit to everyone else, but I adore the thing. So but that's the new car anyway. I've had this and wanted to share all this stuff for a month. This has been fixed for a month. I bought this for a month. That's all finished, the comp stuff. You know, there's heaps I wanted to show you anyway, but I'll wrap it up there. So as I said, do apologise, probably way too much talking in this video, but I just want to keep everyone up to date with the vlog stuff. I do enjoy doing it, and I hope you enjoy watching it. So hang around and we'll see how we go next time.